people say, where do I start? It's a bit scary. I don't know what to do. And the answer is just start using it. It's like riding a bike. Like everyone says, oh, how shall I approach the bike? How shall I get on it? Do I pedal quick or do I pedal slow? You'll figure it out. And that's the same with generative AI.
Welcome to nohacks.show, a weekly podcast in which smart people talk to you about better online experiences. This is another episode we're doing with Experimentation Elite. Experimentation Elite is the UK's premier experimentation and CRO experience taking place on June 11th and June 12th in Birmingham. So head over to experimentationelite.com and get your ticket now. Now, if you work in CRO, UX, experimentation, and you want to learn about AI, sit tight, this is the episode you need to listen to. Welcome back to No Hacks Show. Craig Sullivan and Iqbal Ali. So good to have you here again.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. So
Hi,
what
everyone.
are you guys doing at Experimentation Elite? Tell me about that first. Have something special cooking on 11th.
Well, we're hanging for a couple of days, but we're also doing, I think I've managed to talk Iqbal into co-hosting the workshop with me, but we'll
Awesome.
see. We'll see if I've succeeded. So be doing a workshop, even if Iqbal isn't there, if it's just me doing the workshop, it's largely based on Iqbal's work and actually trying out generative AI in groups, right?
Right.
And so the focus of the workshop is around getting people to actually practically start doing this stuff. Because the biggest barrier is like, well, where do I start? And people say, where do I start? It's a bit scary. I don't know what to do. And the answer is just start using it. It's like riding a bike. Like everyone says, oh, how shall I approach the bike? How shall I get on it? Do I pedal quick or do I pedal slow? And most people just get, like they say in the end, just get on the bike, right? And like ride it around, you'll figure it out. And that's the same with generative AI. So it's an icebreaker. It's a way of showing people that maybe it can do an awful lot more to help human beings than people think.
I think so. I think that's the case. And if we recorded this a year ago, it would be a different conversation. It's a very evolving thing. I mean, GPT 4.0 just got launched, was it 2 days ago? Released 2 days ago. Claude is available in the EU. Like this is just happening daily. Like there's daily updates here. And it's wild and it's going to get wilder. Let's talk about Experimentation Elite, the conference, one more time. You guys both attended in the past. Like, why is this event special? What makes it special? I want to hear from both of you.
I think from my perspective, it's just being able to meet with like-minded people in the industry and get a variety of different perspectives. So there are the talks. Yeah, the talks are great. But it's also the networking, the conversations that we have in between the talks and stuff like that really are kind of eye-opening in terms of what problems people are going through in the experimentation space and stuff. So yeah, that diverse sort of range of problems, diverse approaches to problem solving, all of that sort of thing is you know, Experimentation Elite is great for just kind of getting plugged into what's really happening.
Right.
In
Also,
the industry.
if you follow anyone on LinkedIn who's into experimentation, they're more likely to be there than not. Like, so there's another reason. Craig, I want to hear from you.
Yeah, I would say I actually look after the feedback for the conference. So I design the survey and analyze the data that comes back. And I know there are two key things. Number one, the quality of the speakers. A lot of work goes into picking the speakers, the talks, things that are illuminating, new, but also surprising for people who've already been doing this for a while. And also a bit of stuff that's slightly outside the wheelhouse of CRO. So good quality speakers, and they always are getting a 9-point-something average score on the speaker quality. So that's kind of the heart of the conference, is the quality of the content. And the second thing is worked on this over several years is providing more and more and more time over each successive conference for networking, right? For people to talk to the speakers or fellow professionals, for people starting out to actually get to meet people who are working in the industry. And those connections are really important. That's what powers the community, is the human connections that are made at conferences like these. And so a lot of effort is putting into providing space and opportunity for people to actually meet and talk. And that's something that has become a cornerstone. So great quality speakers and plenty of opportunities to have nice chilled out networking with people and catch up.
The man doing a workshop on AI, Craig Sullivan, just said human connection is what matters. So let that sink in. Like, it still does. It always will. Hopefully it always will.
Humans are where the answers are to all the problems with product design. AI can help us act as a lens onto that human behavior and help us with the heavy lifting of doing the analysis work, but it all starts and ends with human beings. So generative AI cannot replace users, right? This idea that we can create synthetic users or mimic people's internal brain processes and user test stuff. Yes, it may be possible in future for an AI to moderate some basic user tests. It may not be as good quality as a human being doing it, but then you could do 100 user tests rather than 10, right? So there are trade-offs here involved. But the whole point is it means that your reach as a human being is massively extended. You can do so much more. But for me and Iqbal, this idea that the user gets left by the roadside is anathema to our work, right? Because that's at the heart of everything. We're just using AI as a tool to help us do things for users better, right? Or write better copy that users understand, right? So it's not a means to an end to just strip work or jobs out of stuff. It's to make people better at servicing humans and creating wonderful product designs.
Well said. And like you said there, it's a tool. It's probably the most powerful tool humanity has ever had. Like, leaving aside nuclear weapons, let's say, but even that
spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet, exactly. But it's a tool. Like, if you don't use it properly, it's a tool that you're going to do damage with and do something horrible with.
Chainsaws, typewriters.
Don't
typewriters are going to take my job.
Don't
right?
juggle with chainsaws.
Typewriters are going to put everyone out of a job. VisiCalc, Lotus 123. Microsoft Excel is going to put everyone out of a job.
TV, radio, the internet, all of that. This is just more accelerated and more powerful. I mean, which it just says we're going towards doom, towards the end of days. We're just accelerating there. But let's hope.
It's not AI doing this.
No, it's humans. It's humans.
Companies, organizations, and governments, and international governments cooperating internationally on legislation have to work together, right, to protect humanity against a race to the bottom for profit, right? Because if the motive for this stuff is profit at the expense of humanity, then we have failed, right? Because this is supposed to be additive, not extractive, right? It's seeing this the right way, but there's also using it the right way. So will humans use guns and knives badly? Yes. Does that mean that we should ban all knives or guns? Well, that's a bigger debate, right? But clearly we can't ban kitchen knives. They're actually incredibly useful, right? What we have to do is regulate against the worst excesses of when they're used badly. And the same is true for AI. We have to make sure that companies don't use this in bad ways that I've described.
There's not enough time in this episode, but how the hell do we do that? Like, how the hell do we prevent companies that exist for profits only, and there's no other reason, from abusing this? And like, it's a hypothetical question. Let's get into that some other time, because
of course.
It's a very
part of it's peer pressure, but I also think IKEA had a really good example. Okay. Instead of firing their call center staff when their AI now handles 55% of inbound calls, they've retrained all those staff to help with video sales, because that's a growing category for younger buyers from IKEA. It's 1 billion in sales now. It's projected to be 5 billion annually by 2030. So rather than losing all that experience of IKEA products and company and culture built up over several years working in the call center, they retrain those people to give them new skills to actually be video sales assistants. They can walk people around and show them the furniture. How about this for your bedroom, sir?
You know what else they got? They got some good press.
So they keep the people, right? And their philosophy is, we're going to use this to create new, higher skilled jobs for people in our organization. It's not a race to the bottom for us.
Yeah, let the AI cover the bottom. Like, basically, if we start there and like we just as humanity, like as the race, elevate and do more elevated
and
things.
that brings us on to the book. It's all about boring work. After we looked through all of the tasks that we had tried, this is where the book came about. We just started trying tasks. I wonder if we can do this. I wonder if we can do that.
We'll get to the book in a minute. But about the workshop, who should sign up and what will they get out of this? Like, who is your ideal sign
Anyone
up?
working in experimentation teams, product teams, anyone who is working as an experimentation practitioner, people working at agencies doing CRO or experimentation work, anyone who is working on a life cycle of discovery work, right? Actually doing research to then drive problems, deep understanding of customer problems that then drives hypotheses, right? To then run experiments, right? So anybody who is going through that cycle in some way, shape or form will benefit from the workshop, because the focus of the book and the workshop is not around cool stuff that you can do with AI. It's cool stuff that you can do with AI that will really help your experimentation work.
And also there's a bunch of people, I think, who are kind of not reticent and also just don't know where to apply AI and how to apply AI. What kind of outcome can AI give me? So some of those, exploring those ideas and exploring how playbooks can actually get implemented within a company or a team's processes. So that's going to be a big benefit, I think.
And that's
so does the workshop explain how you will use AI for the rest of your working life? No. What it is it's a way, it's like taking you to the gym and showing you a few exercises so that you can then go and do the gym yourself, right?
You're teaching the man how to fish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We're doing the fishing thing, which is, here is the art of the possible with AI in your experimentation. Use this as a springboard for rewiring your one, right? And that will mean choosing some of the playbooks, coming up with your own stuff, taking our stuff and improving it and applying it specifically within your context. What we're doing is teaching people what are the Lego bricks, what are the components, the atomic components in AI, task-based AI, things, little bits that the AI can do really well. And we show you how all those different types of Lego bricks work, but then you can assemble them into any structure or process. So once you learn the basic building blocks, then it becomes a lot easier to actually automate this and chain it into a process. Plus, you get to know how commercial tools work. When you see a commercial tool doing something with AI, you think, oh, it's like magic. No, you actually understand they're doing this with an LLM in the background, right? But because you understand the basic Lego building blocks, now you understand how the commercial tool vendors have used those same building blocks to make their tools. But that helps you discriminate between bullshit tools that don't really have much substance behind them.
AI-powered.
And stuff that's, we have seen many of those tools. It's like the Wizard of Oz. There's nothing behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
So the workshop actually helps you understand how to deal with an AI vendor infused future, right? And how to see through the bullshit.
So basically, if you're going to Experimentation Elite, you would benefit from this workshop. Let's just put it that way, because it's like a perfect match, the audience. Experimentationelite.com, sign up for the event. It's not too late still. There's a few weeks until the event. I think there's still tickets available. Also,
there's a bit.ly link for it, which is bit.ly/E, capital E, capital A, capital I.
There you go.
And those are all the workshops.
There you go. So go there. If you're listening to this episode, go there, sign up now, and I'll see you there. We'll all see you there. The book. Let's talk about the book. This is the book where I wrote a review, and I'm still proud of that. I still cannot believe you guys asked me to, but I read the copy before it was released. It's brilliant. I've used it. Like, I've used the recipes from the book. It's really what as I told you guys, what I like about it is that you can do this in 5 minutes. It's a template that you just start using. In 5 minutes, you get results. They're not the end result, but you start getting results. So, what inspired you to write this book?
It was Iqbal.
Iqbal inspired
because he started. Well, he did, because he was the catalyst. Because back at the start, me and Iqbal were talking about, I wonder if this thing can. We'd been talking for years with Momoko Price about using things like NLP and other text processing approaches to deal with large text corpuses, right? I had found some genius stuff going through customer reviews for clients. Even if the clients didn't pay for it, I would spend the time to look through the reviews. I remember one shapewear client where one of the most common phrases that came up about the comfort of the garment was, "It feels like a second skin," right? And it was like, that's brilliant copy, right? So that ended up getting used in marketing, and it worked incredibly well. It's a customer description of how great the thing is. You're not going to get better copy than that, because it's immediately going to ping and resonate in their mind. So I knew there was value in this stuff, but nobody wanted to pay for someone like me to go through it by hand and encode it and categorize it. So me and Iqbal were, I think Iqbal first said, "I wonder if this can do that thing." And it was like, yeah, I wonder, right? And that was him. He was off, right, to see if he could build it. And it was like, oh yeah, this will be able to do it. And it was like many months later. It was way, way harder than he thought. But that was the catalyst, because that playing around with the summarization of text data was what has all got started. I wonder if we can do this as well, right?
But that's a good point. Like, you said this in the intro. Sorry to jump in. You said, I wonder if it can do this. Like, that's exactly how you should start. Like with any new tool. Like, I wonder if because you're not gonna break your computer.
Yeah, and the thing is, nobody really knows if it can do it.
Yeah,
you just have to explore and find a way to do it.
Right.
Because basically they've got research teams, even in OpenAI and stuff, trying to figure out, like, how does this AI thing that we've built work? So basically nobody really knows, and everybody's really charting their path. And through building this tool, what I discovered, like through kind of increasing my prompts per minute, and kind of trying to figure out, like, how do I get this outcome? You tend to kind of like learn a lot of things. And for me, the playbook kind of came out where kind of I was chatting to Craig, and I kind of like said, well, people already know this stuff, right? And Craig was saying, no, not really.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of like decided, and then Craig just started writing the playbook, and then I got involved. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the genesis of it.
We exchanged a load of these playbooks already. Have you tried this? What about this? This is really great for evaluating hypotheses. Wow, that's fucking cool. What about this? And all this stuff was flying backwards and forwards between me and Iqbal and Johan. So, but it's just been frightening keeping up with this stuff. It's just like continual. It's just like incredible. So, the whole point of the workshop is that we're teaching people what the art of the possible is right now, and that's changing all the time. So you may have an assumption, right? Let's say I have an assumption that I had 6 months ago, which is, there's no way that these AI tools are ever going to be able to analyze A/B test results.
Yeah.
How wrong I was, right? Gemini 1.5, right, and GPT 4.0 will do a lot of basic test analysis. So I'm about to take a whole bunch of data from different tests and throw it at a number of tools, and I'm going to ask them to do a junior data scientist job on this. And the feedback I'm getting from my clients who have been trying it are saying, actually, we've had our data scientists checking this, and it's fine.
So,
right?
yeah.
So we are actually using this with them to check over the stuff, and they're happy with that, right? Why? Because this is the boring shit that they really don't want to do, right? It's basic vanilla A/B tests. They want to really spend their time on the complicated stuff where we've got multiple variables and real complexity and things that we have to control for in the experiment data. They want to spend their time on that stuff, not on the boring stuff. So I'm like, so you're actually using this to analyze test results now? Yep. And I'm like, my
amazing.
God, I just didn't. Yeah, I thought, nah, it's not going to be up for that just yet. I always put yet at the end
Yet, exactly.
because I know what I'm saying now may be different in 3 months' time.
I'm releasing this episode next week. Things might change. We might have to re-record.
Or be out of date.
Edit some parts. Yeah, that's how quickly it's evolving. Like, I mean, if we recorded 2 weeks ago, that will be before the latest generation of GPT. It's different.
Yeah.
Like, things just changed a few days ago with the new ChatGPT 4.0. So who knows?
It's an evolution. This whole process. We Iqbal and I saw these things coming because the underlying tech that's driven a lot of these changes is a thing called multimodality, right? So, for example, in session replay tools, right? Session replay tools don't really understand what's happening on the screen. They understand like movements and clicks and stuff like that. So it's an abstraction of reality. But now imagine an AI session replay parser that can understand all the graphics on the page, that can understand what is being said in the video that's playing on the page, right? And what's happening in all the overlays and pop-ups, right? Now you can feed it really deep context and it can understand user struggle better. So multimodality is something that just ripples out through all commercial products. So it's not that there are new AI tools, it's that all the existing tools we've got are getting retrofitted with these AI capabilities too.
Absolutely incredible. So the playbook, it's a collection of moderately short playbooks that anyone can start using immediately. And that's like the good use of AI. Iqbal, what's the bad use of AI in CRO experimentation? Like, what's the wrong way to do it? I think that's important to know as well.
The wrong way is going back to the output thing. The wrong way to do it is by thinking that you're going to get it to write text and then that it takes you out of the process. So the wrong way to do it is to kind of switch off your brain, basically, when you're doing it. Get an output and then that's it. It's either this or the highway.
And then copy paste.
Or either using AI or basically using myself, and either AI gets it right or you kind of go, AI hasn't got it right, closing the book, closing the iPad, and then just like, okay, now I'm gonna do it myself. So so that I think is a wrong way to do it.
Right. I had a poll on LinkedIn yesterday. I asked, what are you more likely to react to on LinkedIn? Like, I know it's a LinkedIn poll, it's not science. And it's a long post clearly written by AI or a very short post clearly written by a human. It's still 0 for AI. Like, it's like 15, 20 for the human post. It's still 0 for AI. And
but I don't use it to write the posts.
People do. That's the
I
thing.
know, but they're missing the trick here. And
And
this
you can
is an
tell.
important thing to do with the book, which is that we're not saying AI does your job, right? And you sit back and go like this, yeah, it's great. I'm just sitting here and AI is doing my job. No. It's not
I
like
think
that.
if you can
And
break,
this is a mistake.
if people break things into a process, so I think this is what we wanted to really do with the playbook, is instead of thinking about, I want a post, here's a post, give me a post AI, AI gives you a post and then you just copy and paste it. Instead of that, breaking it into a process and then understanding what parts of the process AI can get involved in and give you value. And it's not the outcome, it's not the final thing, it's different sort of steps right at the beginning of that process.
And
So
it's a free,
now
it's a free
imagine-
book. I'll just add, it's a free book that anyone can download. I'll put
It's
the
a
link
free
in the
book.
description of the episode. Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, sure. So now imagine a process. Instead of I'll get AI to write me a LinkedIn post about something in a single prompt, break it down. And chaining is really important, and chains are talked about in the book. Chain of thought, chains of prompting, right? But this is another type of chain. So let's say I want to write this LinkedIn post outcome. What are the series of steps I should break it down into? Right, let's do some research about this topic first. Let's read some white papers. So go off and do a bit of white paper research. I do a look at some of the articles. I get GPT to give me a summary of some of the problems and what people are talking about here. So now begin to get some ideas for the article, right? I might get AI then to work on some artwork that relates to an emerging theme I'm thinking about writing. And I then create an initial draft outline structure. I get GPT to give me some feedback on that and tighten it up. I then actually just sit down and write the article, and then I feed the whole thing back into GPT at the end. And then it tells me, oh, you need a call to action on the end. You've forgotten to have it go and sign up for the workshop, stuff like that. So it'll remind you of stuff that you've forgotten, right? What's the difference, right? Somebody else will go, write me a LinkedIn post for this with emojis and bullet points on this topic, right? One is completely lazy thinking, and you're going to get a shitty reward for typing that in. But the same happens when you go to GPT and you think, I'll type in one prompt, and then you go, well, that isn't what I wanted. And then you leave, right? Because this is what you have to do. You have to chain it. So imagine I say, summarize the company Klarna to me, right? And it will write you 2 paragraphs, and you think, that won't fit on the page where I want to put it. So you say, can you make it a bit shorter? And it makes it too short now. So you say, no, can you make that 10% longer? And then you think, right, it fits perfectly now. And then you put the content in that pane on your page, right? That's the perfect example. You won't get it perfectly right first time. Or you say, I want some button copy for a cycling website to sign up for our newsletter, right? Or some other thing, or a subscription service for electric bikes, right? What should I use on the call to action button? Can you give me 10 pieces of button copy? Now, some of the 10 that it will come back with will be terrible, like go pedal. And you think, oh God, right? But some of them will be excellent, right? So you say, throw away, keep just number 8, 9, and 10. Give me some new ones for 1 to 7. And then one of those is really good.
This is from the playbook, this is from the book, and this is what I started using immediately after I read it. Like,
Iterate,
keep 4,
iterate,
5, and
iterate.
7, and give me 10 based on that. Yes, that part I absolutely love. This is
So
what I do
Iqbal's right.
all
It's
the
a
time.
chain of process, a chain of thought, a chain of steps, a chain of iterations and tweaks, right? And if you aren't prepared to go through the steps or think about the steps, the great thing about using AI, like if you try and fit everything, I want you to do this research and come up with this and then do this and then put it in the table and blah, 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 and one prompt, blah, like that, right? The problem is you don't get to see the working step by step. You're asking the AI to work like a black box. Whereas if you say, hey, let's break this down into 5 steps. First, we're going to do a bit of research on this LinkedIn post. Then we're going to do this, right? Then we're going to do that. And it'll be like, yeah, let's do that. So each time you do the step, you see the working and the input it gets, you can correct it. Whereas if you black box it and say, do the whole thing in a one-er, right? Then you don't see any of the working. You can't correct it as it's doing each intermediate step. But you also don't get to see what it's actually doing. And then you complain, you can't tell what this thing is doing. Well, that's because you haven't broken it down into steps and checked it, you idiot.
Even when you buy like a big Lego set, it's smaller bags inside, and you build this, and then you build that, and then you build that, and then you put them together. Like IKEA even, like when you buy a larger piece of furniture, you have separate boxes that you assemble together, and then you put the whole thing together. This is very similar to that. We have a few more minutes. Let's talk about the event you have in June with Michael Ogard, another former guest and another Experimentation Elite person.
Yeah, we're setting up an event called Experiment Hour. And basically what we're doing is inviting people with expertise in experimentation. Basically, Iqbal and I and Marcella, my daughter, are going to be...
Who was also involved with the book. You didn't mention her.
Yes, that's right.
Earlier.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Marcella and Johan also contributed tons to the book, and also Dewey, who did all the... Dewey Williams, who did all the layout work on it as well. And loads of people have contributed in terms of playbooks and suggestions. Too many to list. But the Experimentation Hour podcast, if you want to call it that, is going to be an attempt to recreate the fun of live landing page critiques, but doing it for experiments. So people can, it's a bit like an experiment surgery. People can bring us their experiment ideas, their questions, results that they're scratching their heads over, things they don't understand. Help, what do I do next? So it's anyone who needs a bit of experimentation help, and that means that we will basically take their questions and work on them before each episode, and then the episode will be about learning around that particular topic using some real A/B test examples and a mixture of chat and presentations, basically, of that stuff. So,
will you be using AI while doing this? Of course.
Maybe for some of the research work.
Of course,
AI is particularly good at writing drip feed emails or LinkedIn posts for stuff where you're doing episodic announcements. So if you want 9 posts over 6 weeks for an event that you're running, you can feed it all the documents about the event, like all the Word documents and emails and everything, and say, see that thing, right? Just write me a drip feed email campaign for that. And it'll do a really good job.
Some of the problems that people have with experiments can actually be resolved by having a specific AI process in the mix. So that's something else that we might be talking about as well, depending on the need.
It's your corner of the internet, two of you guys, and well, with Marcella, with Johan as well. Like AI and CRO and experimentation, it's yours. Like don't abandon it. Like stay there. Don't let someone take it over because you just walk away.
I think it's important.
You have to use AI.
It's so wide, it covers so much stuff, and I'm curious about all of that, but the things I want to write about and explore, particularly to share with others, is how it can be applied to experimentation teams. So Iqbal has discovered that actually walking people through, I've discovered a lot of stuff in the research phase, but Iqbal spent a lot of time working with people on taking problems, exploring problems within data sets or using documents, then turning those into problem statements and hypotheses. And the amazing thing he's found there is that this helps people more with less skills in this area. It's like a big leg up for people who are starting out in products and experimentation teams who may not have the kind of years of experimentation experience that we have, that may not think reflexively about the null hypothesis when we're designing an experiment. Some of the things that are second nature to most people doing A/B testing for years is not true for somebody just starting out in a product team. So we want to give a lift up to those people. So AI can be like having me or Iqbal next to your desk. What do you think about this test idea, Iqbal? Oh, that's okay, but have you thought about this? Oh, that's a really good point, Iqbal. We can't duplicate ourselves and clone ourselves to be at everybody's desk, but what we can do is show them how AI prompting can help them write better problem statements, better hypotheses, and it actually helps people come up with better ideas and experiment ideas. The amazing thing is it changes the psychology of the situation. People are doing better work because of AI.
That's the whole point. If we don't achieve that with AI, we're doomed. Like we're screwed as a human race. Like this is our golden ticket to like a better life for everyone. If we don't take advantage of it, like it's not going to be good. But let's end on a happy note. Experimentation.elite.com. Go get your tickets. Sign up for the workshop as well. There's 2 other workshops at the same time, which I wanted to
Aaron
go to all 3.
and Bav.
Yeah, by Aaron and Bav. They're also going to be incredible. Yes. So, yeah.
I'd like to go to Aaron's workshop, right? But I can't because I'm obviously running mine.
You're busy, of course.
Yeah, I know.
So, guys,
what a bummer.
Thank you so much for being here, for explaining all these concepts. Like you did a lot of work with AI in this space in the last, more than a year. Like it's been a while and you keep doing it. So thank you for that as well. And like to everyone listening to this episode, I appreciate that. Please consider rating, reviewing, and sharing it. And I'll talk to you in the next one.